at bbcworldservice.com. The climate question.
We're asking, is the past the key to the future? We'll be hearing from the Peruvian potato protectors fighting climate change with traditional knowledge. And there's the British bison drawing down carbon in the countryside.
This is the BBC World Service, the world's radio station.
Welcome to OS on the BBC World Service with me, Mark Lowen, live from our London newsroom. 355 drones and 9 missiles. That was what Ukraine suffered last night in the biggest aerial bombardment yet of Russia's war. It comes as no surprise to those who have watched, or far worse, lived through the hell unleashed by Russia on its neighbour since February 2022. But for Donald Trump, who promised to end the war in a day, it seems to have shocked, finally. Vladimir Putin has gone absolutely crazy, he said, adding something has happened to him. The Kremlin called the US response an emotional overload. France's President Emmanuel Macron said Mr. Trump realized Vladimir Putin had lied to him and that he hoped the US president's anger would translate into action. But is there now hope that the Trump administration might finally get tough with the Kremlin? Today we'll get the latest, and we'll also hear how Ukrainians feel on whether the dynamic is shifting. First,
hello, I'm Justine Green with the BBC News. The Israeli military has issued a new evacuation order for Khan Yunis in southern Gaza, telling Palestinians to leave immediately. Gaza hospitals say Israeli strikes overnight killed at least 54 people, at least 35 of them in a school-turned shelter in Gaza City. Here's Journaline.
People have been told to leave Khan Yunis, in particular to head westwards towards this Al-Mawasi area along the coast. This is after 3 rockets were fired from southern Gaza earlier in the day, the Israeli military says. And there is now this plan which is causing a lot of worry being reported in the Israeli media, with the army said to be planning over the next 2 months to take 75% of the Gaza Strip and move the 2 million people of Gaza into 3 areas.
Meanwhile, a new ceasefire proposal appears to have stalled. A Hamas official said the group accepted the plan, partly based on a proposal by the United States, which would see a 70-day truce and the freeing of 10 more Israeli hostages. But an Israeli official has dismissed it, saying it was mainly Hamas's work. The German Chancellor Friedrich Merz has criticised Israel's mounting attacks on Gaza. He said he'd speak with the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to urge him, as he put it, not to overdo it.
Das, was die israelische Armee jetzt im Gazastreifen macht.
I don't understand what the goal of the Israeli strikes on Gaza is. The increasing impact it's been having on the civilian population over the past days cannot be justified with fighting Hamas terrorism.
Germany has always been one of Israel's closest supporters. Chancellor Merz also says there are no longer any range restrictions on arms supplied by key Western allies to Ukraine. This means, he said, that Ukraine can now defend itself by attacking military targets inside Russia. Until recently, this had been a controversial issue, especially in Germany, which has advanced Taurus missiles. Ukraine said Russia sent in more than 350 attack drones overnight, the biggest number since it launched its invasion. The news comes hours after President Trump said Vladimir Putin had gone absolutely crazy with his nighttime bombardment of Ukrainian cities over the weekend. James Waterhouse reports from Kyiv.
Last night, Ukraine says it was targeted by 355 Russian drones and 9 missiles. There were again sirens, explosions and fires in Kyiv, a city illuminated for all the wrong reasons. These are familiar Russian tactics to exhaust Ukraine's air defences, sap the country's morale and weaken its position ahead of eventual peace negotiations. But Moscow's continued, grinding advances in the east make any pauses in fighting seem distant.
You're listening to World News from the BBC.